So we're
Oh,
going to talk about Facebook. It's the new year,
yes.
2024. This is
Uh-huh.
the year of the dragon, and I am a dragon in Chinese horoscope.
Fire breathing.
I'm a wood dragon. I'm a wood dragon, which
There
I
you
think it
go.
just means a person who's very stubborn.
Okay, that's
I
cool.
think. But so marketing you, the Chang Gang band, Facebook marketing,
Mm.
and tell me something about that because you've had this band now for 20 years almost, right?
25 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did it
Yeah.
start in terms of publicizing you and getting gigs at the very beginning? How did
Well,
that work?
okay, I'm moving a little bit because I want to make sure my eyes are at the 3/4 mark here. That's what
Oh,
they
are mine?
say.
I don't think they are.
Uh, close, close enough. Okay. So let me tell you how it started. When we first started the band,
Hmm.
um, it was strictly an email-based marketing. People would say, "Hey, how do I know about your gigs?" And they would send me their email address, and I would start building up quite a list of a distribution list, right?
Right. You had a newsletter,
Oh
basically.
yeah, but it really became unmanageable because after a while, I felt like some people just didn't want to get them anymore. Because I would
Were
send
you
out a
using
note.
constant comment
No,
or
no, I was using regular email, just
okay.
and I
Okay.
created a distribution list.
Hmm.
Although it worked, it was really a pain for me to manage. Who's in, who's out. Then you often wonder, do these people really want to hear about this anymore? 5
How
years
many gigs were
later.
you playing a year at that time?
Oh, very few, one or two a month.
Okay, that's not too bad. But
No, but
it wasn't like all the time.
no, not like now
Okay.
where we're at this year. We didn't even perform anything yet, and we're at 34
Bookings.
for the year. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay.
Um, so in the meantime, Facebook came out, and didn't really think about using it, but then it occurred to me that if we created a group just for the band where people can join the group as they please and leave the group if they want as they please, that would be the place to market the events, the next performance,
Right.
or put the whole calendar of events for the year. So I said, you know what? That would take the onus off of me. And all we got to do is promote the group. Say, hey, if you're interested in knowing our next performance, join this group here on Facebook. Of course, you got to be on Facebook.
Right, and it's a group, not a page.
It's a group. We do have a web page as well. We have a band
No, no,
website.
but I mean on Facebook. On
Yeah,
Facebook, you are a group. You are not a page
right. We're a
because
group.
there's also some people are pages, but
Yeah,
you are
no,
a group.
we're a
Okay.
group. We're a
Okay.
group. And if did you I know did you go out there and poke around at it a little
I
bit?
did. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
so what we do is I've decided to take a different tack this year. Usually they have an events tab where you can post every event that's upcoming for as
Right.
long as you want in the future. And I would normally by this time of year I would have 34 out there. But then I started thinking, and then and Facebook, well, it's at your option. You could invite everybody in that group to that event.
Right. And
So
then somebody says they're interested or maybe
or go
interested or they're
right, right,
going.
or it
Right.
comes down or whatever, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, because now I think I'm going to take a different tack this year. I'm going to do it by the month. Create the events. Like if I know right now all the events out there are for this month.
Okay.
We have two this month. Then
Right.
and the third one. Actually, I lied. There's three, and I have a February 2nd one out there as well.
Yes.
That's kind of close.
Now, here's a question.
Yeah.
So, there's also these stories or reels. I mean, there's also so you can put a photograph on Facebook and you can put an event on Facebook, but then there's also this other thing that's moving across the top.
Yeah, I mean, I
What
could
is
do that
that?
too. It's like I don't use it a lot, although I probably should experiment with it. You can just put an event or something in there, a video that people will notice, and they'll click on it as a reel. And I guess the reel, I don't know how long the reel lasts. They don't seem
Because
to
we
be
had
really
that really
long.
good reel where we were talking about aliens, didn't we?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
that got some traction. But also, when you sing, you're like you're a terrific singer and you are always beautiful. Do you have like relative pitch or something?
I do.
Yes, because
Yeah,
you're always, always right on the mark.
yeah.
And
Well, we try.
well, if it's possible for your a clip from any number of your YouTube videos, just 10 seconds, I would think that people would be delighted with that.
Yeah, yeah. I might experiment with that. I mean, what I started doing just this month, and you may have noticed it on the group. By the way, if people are interested, the group we're talking about is the Chain Gang Band. That's the name of the group on Facebook. What I started doing is, and I kind of got the cue from you. I said, why don't I just put a quick video out there of me just talking like I am now, and talk about the gigs for this month that are coming. So it kind of
Right,
gives it a more personal touch instead of just posting an event and everybody reading it. And I've been already getting
right.
some feedback. People are
Really?
saying, yeah, people are saying, hey, I like the personal touch. This is cool.
Are you
I've
on Instagram as well?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I haven't graduated to that.
Okay. But you do
Probably should.
Facebook and you do it very well. You have 1,000 followers or 1,000 people in this group. I
It
mean,
took a long time though. That didn't happen overnight, and we're still
right,
getting new members. Every
right.
now and then. Because what I do is when we go to a gig, I say, hey, if you're interested, here's the group name, and people join every gig that we go to. I get two or three
Your next
sometimes.
one is the 24th or the 26th or something like that?
No, the 13th. It's this
Oh,
coming
sorry.
Saturday.
Okay, I don't think this will be edited by the 13th, which is
That's
the one
okay.
after it.
That's okay. So the one
Which is
after
the
it
one.
is the 26th. Yeah, of
Okay, where
January.
is that? Because I'm sure this will be out and about by the 26th.
Well,
So,
if you're in the Hudson Valley,
mhm.
it's a restaurant called Cinco de Mayo. It's a Mexican restaurant. Actually, it's not too far from where I live, and it's right on Route 55 in Poughkeepsie. That's where it's
Okay,
going to
Cinco de
be.
Mayo, Route 55 in Poughkeepsie,
Yeah.
Saturday the 26th.
Yep.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And these
On
guys are not a bunch of angry dead women.
I was going to
They're
say
live.
angry dead
They're
women.
men, and they
Maybe in
sing.
the audience. Maybe in the audience there's a few angry dead women. I don't know. We've never had anything thrown at us, so we're good.
Well, not yet.
Not yet. No.
Okay, Sam,
Um.
thanks.
So
Hang
but
on
but
just a second. Hang on. This is a lovely segue. So back to marketing and us.
yes, yes.
Okay. So your to-do list involves getting live clips of you singing to show your fans on your Facebook group, right?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, our keyboard player is the techie when it comes to
Okay.
that because he does all the recording and then he syncs up the sound with the video. Because what he does is he uses the audio right off of the board, so it
Oh,
sounds like a real
that's why it
record.
sounds so nice.
Yeah, and then he syncs it up with the video, and then he publishes it on YouTube. So we have a
Mhm.
YouTube channel as well that
Okay.
we have.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how we kind of market it, pretty much, just based on
When
what we've
anyone
done.
makes a comment or weighs in the Facebook group, do you always respond?
Dan, our keyboard is since it's his account, he always responds. Yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
always responds.
Yeah. And that's a funny story because one of our videos went somewhat viral. In our standard, that's like 68,000 views, and we did a Billy Joel song, "Just the Way You Are,"
Right.
and it did come out really good. And he puts it out there, and then people are always commenting on it, and he's saying thank you, or we stay engaged.
Right.
So to keep, I think people want us to respond.
So, how much
Yeah.
energy do you spend on your Facebook group, and how much energy does he spend on the YouTube channel?
Well, I know from my standpoint, I usually go on to Facebook when we get a new gig or when I'm about to promote the next month. And certainly I get notified if somebody makes a comment. And if somebody makes a comment, I go out there. I don't know. It's hard to say like hours a month. I don't know. Because you have your phone and you kind of already know when somebody's
Do you
commenting on it.
check it every day?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, so you check your Facebook page or group every day.
Every day. Yeah, absolutely.
Of the gigs that you have booked,
Yeah.
how many of these people have contacted you as a result of the Facebook group?
Well, they usually contact us with, "Hey, we're interested," or "Hey, we're going." Um, Sometimes people will say, "Well, where is this place?"
No, no, I'm talking about
Yeah,
the people who book you, the bookers,
I don't know if they. Well, let me tell you, getting gigs booked is pretty much a one-on-one thing. Like if we get it, like for instance, Cinco de Mayo, which is this new restaurant, we happen to go there all the time, Patty and I, to just have dinner. What I mean all the time is maybe once every 2 3 weeks we'll go and
Mhm.
have a dinner there. And the manager was it's never really that crowded, and it's maybe only because we're at there at a weird hour. I don't know. But he said, he goes, we do radio advertising and everything, but we don't seem to get a lot of more traffic. So I said to him, and I use that as that was a great opening for us. I says, "Well, do you have bands here?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, all the other places we play at, the band is one of the reasons why people come, right? They will stay
Right,
after dinner, they'll buy a few more drinks,
right.
they'll sit there with their girlfriend or family and have a good
They come
time
to be
dancing."
entertained. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I said, "You ought to consider that. Think about it. See what you want to do." Well, he did. And lo and behold, I mean, people now he's seeing new faces because they came when we were there and never were there before.
Right.
So the initial contact with a client is important face to face, I think, because you can talk to them, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But once we establish ourselves with a client, and we have a lot, there's a few other restaurants that we've been playing for over 10 years or more.
Right.
What we do there is towards the end of the year, we say, "Hey, do you want us for next year?" And they go, "Yep." And we book all the dates a year ahead of time. So we're locked in, we're good to go. So then once I get those dates, I put them on the page or on our website, and now people can see when we're playing.
That's awesome, really, when you
Yeah,
think about it. How many people follow you on YouTube?
on YouTube, I think we have a few hundred, maybe
Nice.
maybe 600. I
I
don't
have 9. Mhm.
well, consider using a Facebook page because um,
I have a Facebook page, but I don't have a
a
Facebook
group.
group.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant group. Because you can engage with people a lot easier. They can talk to you. You could talk to them.
Right.
When you talk to somebody that might be interested in your work, you could say, "Hey, join this group. You'll see what's going on with what I'm doing."
Right.
You could talk about your audio book. You could do a video
A
and say,
video of my audiobook.
uh, vi- "How strange is that?" But yeah, I mean, uh, but the point is they get
Mhm.
to see you and hear you
Right.
as Carrie Hayes, not not Carrie
Right,
writing
I'm an
words.
angry live woman, not an
Ex-
angry dead woman.
Exactly,
So
exactly. So, I mean, like I said, I just started this whole video thing,
Uh-huh.
and I want to see how it works out. And people are kind of commenting on the positive direction, so I might continue to promote the band once a month with a video as well.
Sam, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Don't
very much.
go changing to try to please me. You never let me down before.
Garden State. But first, I'm going to introduce you. This is my guest, Ms. Diane Hatz of New Mexico. She is an author, a food writer, and a general bon vivant. Diane, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Carrie, my fellow bon vivant,
That's my partner
an
in
undead
shopping
woman.
crime.
Yeah.
That was fun. And I'm wearing the shoes that we got that day, actually. So,
Yay.
okay, Diane, the theme of this conversation is going to be starting again. And also, if you like, we can talk about being a late beginner. I think it's important to get a little bit of your backstory, because the move from New York to New Mexico is significant for anyone. And the fact that you're not doing this at the age of 27 or even 42 is also significant, because I think a lot of people are afraid to make a big move after a certain point in their lives. And I would just like to hear how you decided to go from New York to New Mexico and what happened in the middle, and then about rock gods.
Okay. It was COVID. I'd been in New York 30 years. I lived in the East Village, downtown Manhattan. Everybody with means cleared out. It was just the tipping point. Like, I've been through a lot, 9/11, Sandy, et cetera, et cetera. But when that came around, then I realized, because we were in lockdown, I have no friends in Manhattan. They're in
Right.
Brooklyn. And I just realized they moved upstate. They were just, so I'm like, what am I doing with my life? So I decided I had to move. I'd been thinking about it for years, but I went online. I had a checklist. I wanted high desert. I love Sedona. I would have moved there, but it's too small. So I went high desert, four seasons, culture, diversity, art, creativity. Santa Fe is the
And
only
you had
place.
already left your job
So
by then.
I didn't leave my job. My job and I
Okay, you
fell
and your job
apart.
broke up.
Yeah, COVID. So I had a nonprofit. So, well, it gets a little complicated with me. I had a nonprofit, had a consultancy business. I was consulting with a film company out in Hollywood, whatever. And that had ended just as COVID began. So once COVID kicked in, there was just nothing. I had lost my passion. I was a healthy food
Mhm.
advocate, anti-factory farm activist, spent years trying to educate people about eating healthier. And I just lost my passion
Right.
for it. There's a lot of BS that
I
can
think
come into
trying
the
to do good
nonprofit
and trying
world.
to
And
change the world can be quite a burnout.
well, it was,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. I burned out. I burned out. I also, I don't know if this is too delicate for your listeners, but I was in the height of menopause and
Oh,
didn't
no,
know it.
nothing is
And
too
I was having
delicate
a
for
lot.
my listeners.
So I was in a height of the 34 symptoms of menopause that no woman or man or any YouTube video had told me about. I looked at Denver, I looked at upstate New York, but Santa Fe really was where it came down to. I found a new apartment complex. I'm the first tenant in my building. I have a 2-bed, 2-bath. It faces 2 mountain ranges. Like, I realized after I moved that I literally am in the apartment that I had visualized while in Manhattan. I just thought it would be in Manhattan, didn't realize it would
Right,
be
but
in
you
New
summoned
Mexico.
this
So
apartment
there
in your
is,
mind.
yes, I believe in
Yes.
manifestation. I believe that it doesn't always happen exactly as
Right,
planned,
right.
but that it's all for a reason. So with the book, I Southwest soft launched the book in September of 2022.
Yeah.
And I used that time to get editorial reviews, to do NetGalley, to try to
Right,
get customer reviews, and
right.
just to learn. Like, um, you were very generous and gave me suggestions on places like Book Funnel, Book Sweeps, whatever. But that stuff, I had to try it to find out it doesn't work for my type of book.
Sure, sure.
So the year, because it'll be a year when I do the hard launch,
Mhm.
the year has been spent learning the ropes. Like, indie publishing, if you want to do it seriously, is serious business and it's
That's
hard work.
absolutely right. That's
Yes.
absolutely right.
So, and I don't know everything, but I feel so much more confident. I have, a little arsenal of great reviews that I can take with me when I try to get the book in stores and get onto
Yes.
bigger podcasts. Like, I did podcasts and they're great people, but I practiced on podcast over the past year. Carrie, you're going to be my first million viewer podcast that I'm
Oh,
doing.
hurrah. Good. I'm so glad. I too
So,
changed my cover entirely. I mean, it's
right,
like we're trying to figure out who are we, where are we, what is our place in the ecosystem, find
correct.
our lane and all that stuff. But okay, so the woman who I just spoke with prior to your coming on the show, she has written a book called You Are the Artist of Your Life. And it's a very interesting thing about self-determination and women after a certain point of being on the planet. And I think that your launching of this book is you are the artist of your life made manifest. It's really just you're walking the walk, or do you walk the talk, or you talk the walk, whatever it is, you're doing that thing, right? You're
I'm
breathing it,
walking and
living it,
talking.
making it
Yes,
happen.
I am very happy to say that I still am walking and talking.
Right, right. And I think that what is so amazing is that the women in our group, for example, nobody is passively existing. Nobody is doing that. Everybody's saying, okay, I have a story to tell, or I have a burning passion, and I'm going to do this thing. And it's really very energizing to be around. I think
Yes.
it's how we're supposed to live our lives, because when you think about what was passion before, when it was all about relationships or interpersonal relationships or romantic relationships, but in fact now this huge curve of passion being, what can you make and what can you do?
And for me, it's how can you express yourself? I was a
Right,
codependent people pleaser and didn't realize it until 2019. That's one of the
right.
reasons I am doing this. I'm like,
Yeah,
I've wanted to be a writer since age 15. I've let
right,
other people talk me out of it, telling me I'm
right.
not going to make money. You know what? People do. I go on Publisher Rocket and I just look at how much money some books make each month.
Oh,
And I'm like, if they
sure,
can do it, I can do it.
sure.
And I'm not saying it's about money, but I have to be realistic. I need to make a living.
Right.
I also think it's really important. I'm really into like manifestation and everything is you work really hard, but you have to let it go. I don't know where this is going to go. It just feels right. And the reason I've decided to do a hard launch, there were many reasons, but a big part of it was because I just didn't know what I was doing for the first year. So this first year it's beta, it's soft launch. It's not
Sure,
the
absolutely.
real launch. And I don't want to call it a re-release because it's not. It's the hard launch. It re-release to me is like, oh, I've did everything wrong, so I have to re-release it. No, I've built up to this hard launch. And
Right.
now I can like really focus on getting the publicity and getting out there and really making a mark. But you can't, and this was hard for me because as a recovering workaholic, I
Mhm.
forced myself to shut down. I could do 24 hours a day. You can't do it all and you can't do it all at once. So I truly believe that indie authors, especially when they're starting out, should look at their first year as a soft launch, then look at the second year as the hard or the actual launch. The book is new for at least 2 years. It's it's a new release for 2 years. It's still new and current for at least five. It's evergreen. It never gets old. You can market your book forever.
I think what's so interesting about what you just said about how the first year is really a soft launch. When you think about performance and shows, or even films and TV series, but how long these things are in workshop,
Yeah,
and for example, Hadestown, which was a huge success a couple years ago. Hadestown took 10 years to be born
right.
and had been performed many, many times in somebody's rep or somebody's workshop for years before it got to Broadway. So, I mean, it's for us to think that somebody's going to say, okay, we're putting it in shops now, and that's it, is naive. It's about giving it the best start that we can. And sometimes it takes a few nudges or a few adjustments before we can
It
find that
does. And
thing.
I
Yeah.
think it's a little delusional to think otherwise. There are those people. I mean, Colleen Hoover, TikTok fell in love with her, which
Right.
more power to her. But for the
Right.
bulk of people, it takes effort. And I love it. I mean, I have cried more tears. I have said to people, I should have taken stock out in Kleenex before I started this because it has to have gone up with how much I've bought. But, part of it too is with neuroplasticity. I mean, this is getting like sort of on another subject, but with the whole issue with us getting older and wiser,
Yes.
but with neuroplasticity, by learning a new thing, especially a whole new career at
Right.
our age is so good for us.
Is
And
it? I hope so.
oh, yes. Oh, yes. I think the key is to get to a point where you can sort of laugh. Like, I have a photo. I was asked to be on a panel at the Comic-Con in Las Vegas. This is like
Mhm.
2 days after the book launch, and I will one day I took a shot, and there's 2 people in this huge audience. There were more people on the panel than in the audience,
Right.
and I've heard stories of people, you go to you have a book signing and nobody shows up. There was just one that went viral. This guy was selling his book and no one was buying it. So some guy
Right.
felt bad for him, put it online. He's now
Right. And then everyone and their brother bought it. Yeah.
right. But this is the thing: is that can happen to all of us, but
Yes.
it's not going to happen to every one of us. It could happen. Like, we all have the potential of having that happen, but it's not going to happen to all of us. But we have to find our niche. And I think that it's not giving up. I mean, I will say for me,
I think it's about staring down the freezing indifference, the Arctic indifference of the universe or the world, and staring it down and saying, despite your indifference, I'm going forward with this and I'm doing this.
Yeah,
I'm making it as great as I can.
One of the things I do is I meditate every morning, and I do this like visualization before I start to sort of clear out my energy, whatever. But part of it is I'm like up on a mountain thing, and all the gods of all the universes have my book in their hands, and they're leaping up and down, telling me I've got it. And then I start leaping up and down, and it makes a physical shift, and it helps energize me to, ask a bookstore if they'll sell my book, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, that's amazing.
I just
Congratulations, by the way. I think you really are kicking ass.
well,
Don't go changing to try to please me. You never let me down before. I don't imagine you're too familiar, and I don't see you anymore. I would not leave you in times of trouble. We never could have come